Again, Chasers, we're back here at the Hard Hat Tour for InvadR with Park President David Cromwell. David, thank you again for talking with us. And this is really cool, by the way. We're going to be shooting some video of the walkthrough in a little bit. Is everything going to plan so far? I mean, you talked earlier about the weather, hoping the weather holds together. I mean, we've had a pretty good spring this winter. So
yeah, all things considered, it's we've been lucky. We had the snow right at the beginning of January, but I think it all goes back to having a really good plan, and we had a great plan going into to the construction of the project with some wiggle room built in because weather's going to be a factor in this environment, and so it goes back to having a good plan and having good leadership, and Susie and Adam, and our teams working with GCI the entire time in tandem, and so we're doing really well on schedule.
Now the theming here, and we're going to show some of that too, is amazing.
Yes.
To be able to integrate it in with this area, that's one important thing about what sets Busch different, from like say what we call a parking lot park, where it's just flat, put coaster here, coaster here, coaster here. You guys don't have as many coasters as some parks, but you tie it in and make it, immerse people in it. How long did you guys actually plan all this, all the theming?
Some of that is baked in pretty early, and we set really strong guardrails as a company that any ride we're going to do, as you said, we're not just going to drop a ride in. It has to be integrated with the park and make it feel like the ride just belonged there, that it's a perfect fit. And so that starts right away with just strong leadership in our company and working with the designers and with the ride manufacturer to make sure that that's known and understood. And then some of it takes shape as you get underway. You have a general plan, and then you start to see the ride take shape. You go vertical, and you start to say, well, maybe we could tweak something here, or do something a little bit different there. And so that's been happening as we've gotten closer to our April date.
I think that happens with any construction period.
It has to. It never goes exactly.
You always come up with a new idea, and you're like, oh, maybe we should do this.
Right.
Now, so Q line's almost done. It looks like. The track is almost done. We just talked to Susie. She said there's just a couple of spots left on there. Now, when we talked in December, you discussed, we talked about how fast this ride is going to feel.
Yes.
What do you think the elements of that are going to bring into that? Because we've seen the mock-up video. And, videos like that don't really do the ride justice. So, can you explain how it's going to feel faster?
Well, I think the drop is the first thing guests are going to think about. When you see the drop, and I think when we all experience it for the first time, it's going to give you that sensation of it's steeper, it's faster, and just the way the coaster, I think the banking turns, the helix, there's just those elements that are going to give you that fast, out of control wood coaster feel, and that's, I think, going to carry you throughout the entire ride.
And you talked earlier the 46-inch height requirement, which is great for this because it really puts it in between Grover and Verbolten and Loch Ness for people.
Right.
And so this is going to be really cool for a lot of, like you said, a lot of those kids come up, and this is going to be their first big kid ride because we're big kids.
Yes, we are.
But now the interaction with the train, did you guys run into any problems with that in the beginning with interacting with the train tracks and with the log flume?
Not really. I don't think anything that we didn't expect. We had some, during Christmas Town, we had some days where the railroad didn't open or opened a little bit later, and that was really just more to accommodate construction scheduling and sequencing, and we want to give GCI and our general contractor as much time as possible in order to work on the ride so that we can make the April opening. So I wouldn't say we encountered anything that we didn't already expect. It's an old park, so you kind of know you're gonna deal with some things until you can get out of that ground and go vertical. So it's been about as expected.
All right, so we have an April opening.
We have an April opening.
April opening, outstanding. Be here for that. It's gonna be awesome. Thank you again, David, so much. And we'll talk to you guys next time. Be excellent to each other.